Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Ozarks Voices, the oral history project of the Missouri State University Libraries. My name is Tom Peters. I'm the Dean of Library Services at MSU. Today's date is the January 17th, Tuesday, January 17th, 2017. We are in the Neale Newman Law Offices in Springfield, Missouri, and we are speaking with Jerry Redfern and Gene Lichlyter, who were both Promenaders, which was one of the there were several square dancing teams that performed on the Ozark Jubilee. I know early on they had the Lake of the Ozarks Bullfrogs, which is pretty rare, which was the adults. And then the Tadpoles came on. The Wagon Wheelers was another team. So there were several, but the Promenaders were a prominent square dancing troupe on the Ozark Jubilee. So we've been talking. So let's just begin with Jerry. You were born in Forsyth.
Forsyth, Missouri.
Okay, right in town.
Yes.
All right.
Old Forsyth, they call it.
Old Forsyth.
Yeah, but it moved in up on the hill.
Pre Taney Como.
Mm-hmm. Not pre Taney Como. It was.
But it was. But, you know, part of the town moved up when Taney Como, when Power Site Dam was.
It moved up then when they put in
Power
Table
Site.
Rock Lake.
Power Site. Oh, Table Rock.
Table Rock.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So I just have to ask you, did you know that the Weaver brothers in Elvira had a house there on Lake Taney Como? Did you know about that when you were growing up, that there was a
everybody that lived down there
famous vaudeville troupe?
Yes.
That, yeah. Did you ever meet them? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
But you knew they were
when
there.
When they came down, they usually just went straight to their home on the lake, on the lake. And
yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, I met the current owner of that property, and I need to get down there and see it because I guess.
Yeah, that was at Rockaway.
Yeah. Did they build it themselves? Do you know? Or
I think they may have, because the people that owned the two hotels at Rockaway Beach, I worked on Rockaway Beach as a kid for 7 years.
Doing what?
I was a bellhop
Uh-huh.
at the Brown Hotel, or the Hotel Taney Como.
Uh-huh.
At the same time I was doing the square dancing.
Yep.
And I mean, I started when I was 12 years old, actually.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind me asking, when were you born? What year?
What year?
What year were you born?
Oh, 1935.
1935. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were about 20 when in 55, and 19 in 54 when.
No, I wasn't 21 yet.
Yeah.
I was getting close.
Yeah. All right. I don't mean to, growing up in Forsyth must have been an amazing thing, but any other really fond memories of growing up in Forsyth?
Well, certainly I had fond memories. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And the lakes were the water was attractive.
Yeah.
And so it was, in that respect, it was a beautiful place. Rockaway Beach was a regional place.
Tourist draw.
Right.
It was a tourist draw
Yeah.
back then.
St. Louis, I think a lot of St. Louis folks would come down.
They came out of Arkansas, Kansas, Kentucky, St. Louis, the adjoining states.
Did you feel like you were living in a tourist region at the time?
Oh, certainly I was.
Yeah. But you were aware of it as a child that this was a...
I was what?
You were aware of it as a child that it was, I live in a tourist area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing like today and nothing like Branson, but in any
Yeah.
event, back then it was.
So you were a bellhop for 7.5 years?
7.5 summers. Rockaway Beach was only in operation from May or June the 1st till the end of August.
Yeah. Go fishing?
Yes, I've fished a lot.
Float trips?
What?
Float trips?
I've been on float trips, of course.
All right.
You name it.
Okay. And Gene, you were born in Springfield?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind my asking the year?
1935.
35?
We're both the same age.
Okay. What part of Springfield did you grow up in?
The north side,
Mm-hmm.
like around Division Street,
Uh-huh.
and Bennett Street
Mm-hmm.
for quite a while. Grand.
Mm-hmm.
You lived on Grand when we were in the Jubilee. Your parents did.
Uh-huh.
And you had a sister, twin sister?
Twin sister.
Yeah.
There they are.
Oh boy. I don't know which one's you.
Okay.
I think this one.
Okay, you're not sure yourself?
I'm not sure, but I believe that's me.
All right. I have another. Could we possibly scan these photographs? Have they been digitized?
You can scan if you want to.
Can you what?
Could we scan these so that they're digitized?
Scan it
Yeah.
with the camera?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We have the scanning equipment, so we'll get good scans,
Sure.
and then we'll give you digital copies. And then
That'd be fine.
if you give us permission,
Sure.
so we want to try to digitize these Ozark kinescopes, Ozark Jubilee kinescopes, and then we want to add other things like a link to this interview and some photographs
Okay, sure.
and
Let
other
me tell
things.
let me tell you something about one of these guys. Let's see.
While she's looking, so you went to Drury.
Yes, sir. I was the odd duck.
Okay, so you were. How did you become a promenader? Because it
Very
came
simple.
came out of SMS.
Very simple. It was just started well over SMS, and they needed a boy. They needed one more.
You met the criterion, huh?
What?
You met a
And
boy who could
so
dance.
They came down to Rockaway Beach, and I happened to be dancing down there
Oh.
because Rockaway Beach had a dance pavilion at night.
Uh-huh.
And so, usually when we got through finishing work, we'd go over there and see if we couldn't talk to the young ladies. And so they came down one night and said to me, they said, "How'd you like to come to Springfield tomorrow and try to go to with the square dancing?" Well, they were nice-looking young ladies, and I thought, why not?
So the young ladies approached you
Yes,
at the pavilion,
yes.
and they liked your dance routine, I guess. And
They were looking for somebody that knew how to dance.
Yeah.
And in those days, the reason why you dance is that was the easiest way to get the girls to say hello to you. Because the girls would come into Rockaway Beach and be
So
by themselves.
I'd never heard this, but so I've always heard the phrase that the quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
They didn't feed me anything.
So maybe the quickest way to a woman's heart is through your feet.
I don't know. But
Well,
the
part of the reason was because the guys we were always close to being one guy short because they'd have to go to the army.
Service. Yeah. Yeah.
so anyway, they needed one.
Yeah.
And so I came up the next day, and
You were already attending Drury
yes.
University.
Yeah.
And you should be happy to be home, and you were just
This
dancing.
happens to be the summer. I'd been to Drury 1 year.
Uh-huh.
I was a freshman.
Uh-huh.
It was the next summer when
Uh-huh.
I'm working down at Rockaway Beach in the summertime. And they came in and said, "Would you like to come up tomorrow and practice with us?"
And you were just dancing for pleasure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you were just dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know.
So they're talent scouts, the women, young women.
I didn't know much about it, but I knew that there were young women and they were attractive.
They were. It was these two that went out and got him to come up.
Uh-huh.
This
So-
guy is the one that
We haven't heard the end of it though. First.
got us to do the jig step.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And
He introduced the jig step.
Uh-huh.
And what's his name?
Jerry Hill.
Jerry Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he was the one who said, "Hey, let's try this new step." And
Yeah.
And L.B.
that's-
Keller was the one that
And
boosted
that's what
it up.
made us different
Yeah.
from other square dancers.
yeah.
Okay. So then the
So the rest of the
next day I came to town, and they were going down to the Crane, Missouri. You heard of Crane?
I've
and the,
heard
and
of
the
Crane.
Broiler Festival.
Yeah.
They were going down there that night to be the program, and took me with them, and I was dancing.
First night.
Yeah. And I stayed for 2.5 years. That's it.
Did you enjoy it from the get-go?
Oh, sure, had a big
We
time.
were partners.
Really?
You bet.
You were kind of, so how did that work? So there was 8 people, 4 men, 4 women,
That's right.
but you would have there were
Position.
four
We
partners.
We had a set position.
Yeah.
I was number 4. My sister was number 2.
Yeah.
That kept the guys.
Oh, separate. Yeah.
I started with Jean. She and I just stayed together for 2.5
2.5 years.
You bet.
So so there was a woman at SMS who kind of got it started. What was her name?
Oh, Florence Bugg. She was a PE instructor.
PE instructor.
And she was our sponsor.
Okay, but she kind of get it going. Like let's start a square dance. Team. Oh.
No, they had the square dance on Tuesday nights, and L.D. Keller was the caller, and he would say, if any of you are interested in more square dancing, you can come out to my barn.
Right.
And dance with us. And that's how he would get new people in.
Oh, okay. So he'd go around and call
And
a dance.
this one girl was going and decided she would go, and I thought, I'm not letting her be the only one. So I decided I'd go too, and Jane did too, my sister. And we all three went, and we liked it, and decided right then that we were going to try to get into this group.
That's how you got
And we did.
So LD was a postal
He
employee.
worked at the post office.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
He has his brother is here in town,
Yeah.
still today.
Yep.
Russ Keller,
Yep.
and he just gave some land to Drury about two
Really?
months ago.
Really? Okay. So I do know where L.D. Keller and his wife. So the one story I've heard is that his wife maybe knew ballet, and she encouraged him to get interested in square dancing as a
That's what I heard too.
avocation. Needed something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ballet.
Yeah.
You try square dance.
I heard something like that
Okay.
too.
But he loved it dearly.
Yes,
Yeah.
without any question.
And then, if I understand correctly, his house is still standing just west of Glenstone.
Well, the barn may be there.
The barn's gone.
Oh, the barn's gone. Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a self-storage facility. If you're going north on Glenstone, I forget what the site street. I want to say maybe Florida. Going north on Glenstone, just before you go under the main Frisco line tracks, off to the left, a little bit off of Glenstone, not right abutting Glenstone, is a self-service. The house is now like the office for the self-service storage. But the barn's long gone. The barn was back north behind the house.
I called it a garage, but he called it a barn.
Oh, it was a small barn,
It wasn't very large.
hobby farm barn.
Yeah, it was beside the house,
Really?
not in back.
It had a concrete floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so that was the reason why you could use it that way.
Uh-huh.
And then he had equipment in there for music and things.
Okay. But it wasn't that large. It wasn't like a
Oh no,
big barn.
it was not
No.
a big barn. It,
Oh,
was,
okay.
it was more like a garage.
Just kind of a garage, large garage
Yeah.
with
It was a fairly large garage.
wood frame,
Yes,
unfinished,
exactly.
Right.
electricity because they had some equipment,
That's where we practiced all the time.
and a concrete floor.
Yes.
All right. And when was Wednesday night practice night? Or whenever, just whenever.
I've forgotten to tell you the
I
truth.
don't know.
I'm sorry, it's been too long.
Oh, but it
Slept
wasn't
too many
like-
times. It was every week though.
Every week, and it might have varied between just what was going on.
No, I think we and it may have been Wednesday night. I'm sorry, I just don't remember the night.
Yeah.
Or in the afternoon. But we practiced all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time, but every week.
Every week.
Yeah.
Better way to describe
And then
it.
you'd play
And
different.
tonight,
We went all over the country, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
we saw the United States.
I read, maybe it was in Washam's book, that you had, didn't you have like a month gig down at the Blue Room in New Orleans?
Yes, L.D. Keller got that.
Yeah.
Then
Remember that trip?
That's one. There was another one in Houston, Texas, at the hotel.
Would it be like a month or?
Yes,
Yeah.
you were the floor show.
Yeah.
Same way in Houston, Texas. Where else? I've forgotten.
Didn't you go to New York?
Yes.
West Coast? You go anywhere on the West Coast?
No, not much on the West Coast. It was mostly in the East.
Denver? Did you ever go like to Denver? Or
I was never in Denver. I don't think.
After I quit, they went to Canada.
Well, you went to Canada also, though.
But
Toronto.
yeah, I went to Toronto, but they went to the West coast,
See, she and I were both gone then.
Yeah.
like Calgary,
Yeah.
and wherever the rodeos went, they kind
Vancouver.
of did the rodeo.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were talking about. So LD was the caller, but he was also like the manager.
He was the manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When we
But
had,
he wasn't a drill sergeant or
No,
he was.
we had to become.
No.
We had to become. You had to get a. What kind of a ticket did we have to have in order to become professionals? I've forgotten the name of it, but there
Almost
was,
like a union card or
it was,
something.
it was like a union card.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And we had to have all that before we could start making
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and do those things.
So in essence, you turned professional,
We did.
At that point.
That's correct.
but you were still college students.
We were
Right.
still college students, but we turned professional.
Uh-huh.
And he's told us we needed to do that in order to have the shows and have the money.
Yeah.
And of course, then he paid us.
Yeah. And then you do shows in the region, the Crane Broiler Fest, and you know.
Oh well, we'd do anything he wanted to pay us
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah.
We've been to Memphis. We've been everywhere.
Yeah. So a lot of travel.
We danced at the Kentucky Derby.
I'm telling you. Well, let me put it a different way. I went to college. I got money from the square dancing, and really, I started buying my own clothes when I was
Yeah.
12, 13.
And you had attractive young women. Life is good.
Life was very good.
We when we became professional, we had gone to New York City to be on Ted Mack's Amateur Hour, and we lost out first place to this little 10-year-old boy who sang the Lord's Prayer or something like that, and he had won 2 times before, and so he won this time too.
Now, see,
But
that was
anyway,
before I started.
From that, we decided, LD decided we would become professionals, and that's what happened.
All right.
But we traveled for a month with Gene Autry, all the states east.
Twice.
Missouri.
And you travel by bus primarily?
Yes.
Sometimes train?
Well, we had 2 30-day trips with Gene Autry. The first one, we started in
3.
Wisconsin. 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 3. We had 3.
Chicago.
The first one was up and down the East Coast,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then there was a month in Toronto at the exposition up there,
Yeah.
and because he was the draw.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the show.
Yeah.
And then the third one was
Chicago.
Chicago. So
And you spent a month in Chicago?
No, not a month.
no.
Oh.
I don't remember how long, but it wasn't a month.
Yeah. But you dance every night?
Oh yes, and sometimes we danced twice. In New Orleans, we danced 2 shows.
Danced 2 shows in Houston, Texas
Early
at night,
evening and
early and late.
Then later in the evening.
Would you have, so you needed 8 people. Would you have, how many did you have understudies or whatever you call them?
We took 10.
No.
Took 10. Another male, another female?
An extra.
You had to.
Were injuries common where someone just said, I
No.
just can't go today?
We didn't have injuries.
Really?
I fell once, but
Didn't somebody have a wardrobe malfunction once where like somebody's skirt fell off or?
yes. I don't remember who that was.
Wasn't you?
Oh,
Probably was. I don't know.
the skirts were very. What did you call? What do you call
Full.
them? Well, they were full.
Yeah,
I
puffed
mean,
out. Yeah.
All kinds. 18 layers of it or
Yeah,
something. I don't
yeah.
know how many layers.
Yeah, so you wanted to really stand out. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody's fell down.
Oh,
Well, we were dancing at Fort. What is it?
what?
Leonard Wood?
Military base.
Leonard Wood?
Yeah, Fort Leonard Wood. We were dancing there, and a girl that had been dancing before I started in, that she lost her petticoat when they were dancing
On
for
stage.
the GIs.
Oh boy.
Nobody fell off a horse except Gene.
So how did you get onto the Ozark Jubilee? Do you remember how that? Were you both in the Promenaders when you first performed on the Jubilee?
We were there in the beginning.
Yeah. And how were you invited? Did you have to audition or?
No, L.D. Keller did that. We did nothing but that.
He just came back and said, "Hey." And was it a big deal or
Oh, it certainly was.
just another gig or?
Oh no! It was.
It was a big deal.
We called it a big deal. Let's put it that way.
You knew at the time
Yes.
you were going to be on live national television.
It
And we
was
got
a
paid
big
for
deal
it.
because it was the first coast-to-coast hookup.
Yeah.
In 1954, excuse me, you could work on Saturday, and you got paid each week. And
And they always had a star for a draw.
Yeah.
so, for a young person our age, you couldn't find any place else where you could make that kind of money.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
It was good money.
And
It was fun.
Yeah, especially making it in a fun way.
Yeah.
I mean, we got paid to have a good time.
Yeah.
That's how
Were
I
you
feel.
celebrities? I mean, did your classmates say, "Oh, there goes Jean. You know, she's on national TV. There goes Jerry."
Not really. We didn't because we didn't portray ourselves.
Let's put
that
it this way. I think our parents were very proud of us. Let's put it that way. That's about the size of our.
They were they weren't concerned that you were, this was
My
going to be,
parents square danced, and after the Jubilee, I'd go out to their square dance club and dance with them. They just loved it for us to come out.
Right.
My sister and I both went out, but I went out more than Jane did.
Yeah.
But the guys just loved to dance with us, and my dad just loved to dance with us, and they didn't make any big deal over us.
Yeah.
But my parents didn't, but the people they danced with did.
Yeah,
Can we stop just 1 second? I got to
Sure.
ask you a question.
sure.
When do you plan on stopping?
Oh,
It doesn't make any difference to me. I just need to know.
do you have it's already 11:45. Well,
What? I mean, you want to go to 12:15,
I can go to
12:30?
5
You just
I can
tell
go-
me.
I can go to 5 o'clock if you want.
No, I don't want to go to 5
No,
o'clock.
no. If we go a little past 12. well,
Okay,
past-
fine. I got to make one call real quick.
Okay, I don't want to keep you from here.
Won't take but a second.
All right. So, Gene, do you remember the first time you performed on the Jubilee?
I don't remember the first time. No.
Were you nervous?
Never nervous.
You were never nervous.
I was just having a good time.
You just like to dance,
Mm-hmm.
and if somebody wanted to watch you dance, that's their business. Yeah, and they're going to pay me to watch me dance. That's
And we didn't
better.
think about show business
yeah,
per se,
yeah,
or that we were stars or anything like that. And we were on what's that out of Nashville?
Grand Ole Opry.
Grand Ole Opry.
You performed on the Grand Ole Opry too.
Yeah,
Mm.
and these kids wanted our autographs,
Okay,
and we
now
thought,
turn it back on. I'm fine.
All right.
and we thought, they want our autographs. So my sister and I used our brother's name for a last name, so we to sign our autographs.
So you performed on the Grand Ole Opry as well as the Ozark Jubilee. Any other barn dances?
I didn't go to the Ozark Opera, so I don't know.
Grand Ole Opry. You didn't go to the Grand Ole Opry.
No.
Did you perform anywhere else? There was the Louisiana Hayride down in
No.
Shreveport.
No.
Big D Jamboree in Dallas.
No,
Okay.
No, not that I remember.
I don't think the National Barn Dance up in Chicago was still going then. So I don't know about that, but
I can just remember being there, and it was a large place,
yeah.
enormous. It was, I guess, where they have the people come in for various things with their businesses.
You're talking about the Jewel Theater, or
No, the Jewel Theater was tiny. I'm talking about up in Chicago.
Oh, when you performed up there. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With Gene Autry's.
No, that was when we went up there when we weren't invited.
This is the first time where you just kind of crashed the competition.
That's right. That's exactly what happened.
So I asked Gene while you were out, were you nervous the first time you performed on live national television?
I'm sure it was.
Did you think, oh my gosh, millions of people are going to be watching?
No, I was just a young person. I didn't.
You were just dancing.
I didn't think that much about it, to tell you the truth, because there's 8 of us,
Yeah.
and so as a result,
We just
that's
had a good time.
different than being one person or 2 persons.
Yeah.
I think.
And you weren't singing or playing an instrument.
right.
You were dancing. I mean, not that dancing isn't, but, was it hard to keep it fresh, I guess, is another question. You did it so much. After 2 years, did you just think, oh my gosh, I have to go out and get
You
a
mean,
dance?
did we get tired of it?
Yeah, how did you keep it fresh so it didn't feel like,
We kept it fresh because L.D. Keller did one other thing to boot. He had us learning different styles.
So you were constantly learning new material?
New material is the best way to say that.
Yeah.
He was always pushing us with new material.
Yeah.
As a result, if we'd been doing exactly the same thing every day for 2.5 years,
Right.
you'd get tired of it.
Right,
But you didn't get tired of it the other way
right.
because you were doing other things,
Also an incentive to practice because you had to learn that new material.
of course.
Yeah. So you said on Saturdays you'd have to be there at 9 a.m. for the run-through? Was it a dress rehearsal, so you'd be wearing your...
Not dress rehearsals.
Oh.
We just
We were just there.
did it over and over and over all day long until it's time to do the real
Yeah.
show.
So who was like really the director of the show?
What's his name? He was a KY3.
Yeah.
Not Cy Simon, was it?
No, it wasn't Sisa. The person that was on the stage all the time.
It wasn't Joe Slattery,
No, Joe Slattery was the
announcer.
announcer.
Yeah. Richardson? Anyway.
Wasn't Richardson.
But I mean, so on that Saturday, would everybody be there? All of the performers would be there for the entire day?
Except Red Foley didn't get there real early.
But he'd come in,
Eventually.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like during practice? I mean, was everybody just kind of sitting around and then whoever would call from stage, hey, let's get the Promenaders up here and go through this routine again? Or...
The person from KY3, and I'll call you at 10 o'clock tonight and tell you his name. But he was running the show
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, and he'd run us through it.
He was the director.
Yeah, and you knew what you were doing then.
And it was all about timing too. So he had to
They
figure
needed-
out
They needed to know the timing. for
with
everything.
live television, you've got to
That's right.
you can't end a minute early,
That's
you gotta,
right.
Yeah.
And that's the other reason why I said to you, they also used us in a way because then we were a fill-in, if you
Yeah,
want
a
to call
fill,
it that.
yeah.
I mean, or if
Let's
they,
get the Promenaders if they
Well,
knew they were running short.
if they needed,
Yeah.
we could either run short or we could run longer
Yeah.
if they wanted it.
But they could always fade out with you dancing.
That's right.
No big deal.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's
Was there ever a show where you were asked to get on stage? You didn't know you were going to go on. They was just like, oh, so and so's drunk. They're not going to perform or whatever. And you had to get out there and just like get out there and dance. And or did you already know what routine you were going to?
I don't think they ever told us that one way or the other. We were just there. And if L.D. Keller told us to get on the stage and let's go, we went. We didn't
Yeah.
ask questions.
So LD was sort of your personal director on game day, if you
Well,
will.
he was our caller, and,
Yeah.
and he
if
was
he
our
said get out
manager.
there, and
And he was the one that he was the one that told us what to do,
yeah.
and he was there.
Yeah. And then either you do it live one time or twice, depending on
Depends on what they had.
time of the season.
In the summer times, it was always 2 times. Most of the times it was
Yeah.
2 times at night that I remember.
Yeah.
And then in the winter time, I don't think it was quite that much.
Oh,
But I can't tell you.
Always a
They'd have
full
to tell
house.
oh yeah.
you. I can't remember when there wasn't a full house.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a big house.
Yeah. What do you remember about the Jewel?
That's what I'm talking about. the
Yeah.
Jewel
What do you
Theater.
remember about it? Was it
It was tiny.
kind
And there was
of
no-
run down?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, but it was an old theater.
Yeah.
old theater, yeah, no one down
It was
there,
an
just
older
old.
theater.
Yeah.
I mean,
And what did you do when the show was on, but you weren't on stage? What did you do? Just
you had to find a place to. A lot of times we were also spent over at Aunt Martha's because.
But
a
not
lot-
during the show itself, would you?
Yes,
Really?
a lot of times if you knew you weren't going to do anything for 15 minutes, you'd go to Aunt Martha's and get something to eat or drink.
Yeah. Now I need to look at the.
Or stand in the back
Yeah,
and watch the
there,
show.
there was not any big dressing rooms and that kind
Oh,
of
really?
thing.
There's no
Oh,
green room or you know. Oh.
uh,
Either standing off stage, you're standing in the back. You'd actually stand in the back of the theater, just kind of watching.
or on the
It
side.
was all,
Right.
it was, the theater was always packed, and so the only place we could spend our time that we were not on stage was standing in the back and talking to each other, or standing like close to the front doors or
Yeah.
over there.
Now I've asked several people. Maybe do you remember? So the main entrance to the Jewel was off of Jefferson,
Yes.
pretty much right across from the main entrance to the Colonial Hotel.
No, pretty close.
Okay.
Very
So you
close.
go in. Was the theater to the left or to the right or straight on?
Theater was straight on,
Straight on.
and they went down each side.
So the theater was aligned east-west.
As far as I'm concerned, it was.
So you went into the foyer and then straight into the theater?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't as large as the Gloys or anything like it.
Yeah.
It was the smallest theater just about that was in town, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not
Probably
sure of that.
Probably the Mozark was. There was
Mozark
a
would be
square.
smaller, you're right. Up on the square, but the answer is it was
otherwise-
still a small theater.
Yeah. All right. And where was Aunt Martha's?
About one door. It was right by it, right by the theater.
Was it across McDaniel?
Is that Jefferson?
Jefferson.
Was it
on
south
Jeff-
of the theater? Same
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
Same side of the
just-
street.
Just
It was on the same side as the
same
theater.
side of the street, and not on the corner. Just the building next to the one on the corner.
Okay, but you didn't have to cross the street to get to Aunt
No.
Martha's.
Don't think so. Oh, did you?
We crossed
The side street
McDaniel.
there? Okay.
So it must be where the MSU Foundation building is now. I've heard that, but I need to verify with the.
Yeah, you'll have to figure
City
that
directories.
out. I can't.
But you guys go over there and just have something to eat.
Well, I mean, you'd go there to get something to drink.
Yeah.
In those days, 90% of the people smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
In the theater. Was the
No.
theater smoky?
not in the theater.
Right.
They didn't, I don't think they allowed smoking in the theater.
Smoked at Aunt Martha's. So.
But you smoked at Aunt Martha's or you smoked out on the sidewalk
Yeah.
or on any place.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people, including me, that smoked.
Yeah. Did you before you danced? What kind of warm-up exercise? I mean, did you really have to stretch and? You know,
We'd done that all day. We didn't need to
Right.
warm up.
really? You're ready to go.
We were young.
Yeah.
Right.
Any memories just interacting with the other performers? Any kind of funny stories of?
Oh yeah. We just we interacted with whoever was on the Jubilee.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, the people that came through, the country singers,
Yeah.
the country people that came through, were very, very polite usually, very, very
Right.
kind. They'd always be talking to the,
We-
with the square dancers,
Just folks.
just folks. I mean, and what's her name? The little
Brenda
girl.
Lee.
Brenda Lee.
Brenda
liked
Lee,
her.
of course. She was on lots of shows.
Was she?
We were
You
there.
know, just fun to interact with off stage?
Oh,
Was she just a
She was something
a
else.
fireball?
she was the oldest 12-year-old I ever saw.
Yeah.
She was 12 going on 22, or?
Right.
We don't know exactly what, but she was very nice, and her mother was too.
Yeah. Okay. you sort of have a buzz after the show. You just can't go home and go to bed, can you? You got to do something to kind of release the energy.
Well, you got to remember what our age was at that time, and it was Saturday night.
Right.
You'd try to go catch up with your friends.
Oh, so you felt like you were kind of late to the party.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of dates I couldn't have on Saturday night.
Or you had a late date, huh? Because you had a.
Because you didn't have any choice.
Yeah.
But that was okay.
It was okay. You didn't regret it ever. Like,
Oh heavens, no.
Didn't feel like it was a millstone.
It was a very nice thing. It would happen
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah. So what caused you to stop?
I was getting ready to graduate from Drury. Drury had been very good to me. They let me go on tours with Gene Autry and things like that, and so
you'd missed some school.
I did,
Yeah.
and I talked to them ahead about it. I was very fortunate.
Yeah.
They let me make things up and do things.
Yeah.
So
But you were going to graduate. Did you know you were going to go to law school at that point, or?
I worked in St. Louis 1 year, and then I went to law school because my wife was doing her things at Barnes Hospital, and so
Yeah.
when she got through with that during that year, then I went to law school because she worked and put me through law school.
Were you married while you were dancing?
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
Was anybody married in the troupe when?
not then. Not when Gene and I were there.
I thought I read somewhere that, especially like during the practices in the barn, that the women dancers didn't like the girlfriends of the boys to be hanging around. They call them the distractions, because the boys wouldn't pay attention to what they were doing because they had their girlfriends off on the side, or maybe with boyfriends.
I didn't feel that way.
I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from.
No, I think maybe I read it.
And the reason why is because, first
It was
of all,
very professional. Practicing.
You didn't. I don't remember a lot of people other than us that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Well, when John started dancing, he brought his girlfriend on trips with us, and the girls didn't like that. And I thought,
Oh, that's after I'm gone.
And I thought, mind your own business.
Yeah.
You know, that was my attitude.
Yeah.
But I quit in 1957 in May because I'd saved enough money to go to Germany, which is what I wanted to do, and I couldn't wait to see what was out there.
Uh-huh.
And so I quit to go to Germany.
You wanted to see the world.
And I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I quit because I was going to graduate that year.
Yeah. Okay.
I quit in the fall.
Hey, but you keep together with other former you get together every once in a while with the other former promenaders?
Yes.
Yeah.
People here in town.
Yeah. Do you have any reunions planned?
We're like a family.
Do you have any reunions planned upcoming?
Oh, we do the impromptu.
Spur of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many are left?
How many are left?
Here in Springfield, probably 5 or 6. See, the Promenaders went on
Yeah.
for a long time after Gene and I quit.
Yeah.
But we were very fortunate to be there in the beginning and when it was so red hot
Yeah.
with the Jubilee.
So you both were there from the beginning when it formed.
As far as the Jubilee was concerned, yes.
Yeah. And they continued to perform on the Jubilee after.
Sir?
They
Yes, they
continued
did.
after you left.
Yes.
Left the.
Yeah, they continued then. And I'm not sure how long it continued because and then it stopped
It became a different
became a different,
Yeah.
show.
it was a different show, and I don't think it ever had quite
Yeah.
the pizzazz that the first one did.
No.
Yeah.
it didn't.
And there were other troops. So they had the Tadpoles were, I think,
Yes.
popular. Wagon Wheelers were later,
Wagon Wheelers were later.
toward the end of the run of the
They-
Jubilee.
They came out
were,
of Camdenton.
That was the Tadpoles. The Wagon Wheelers, I think, were out of SMS too.
Oh, was that? I didn't know
I
that.
think so.
Uh,
Gary Ellison was the caller for.
Gary Ellison was a caller for the Tadpoles.
Oh,
No, for the Wagon Wheelers.
Oh, Wagon
The
Wheelers.
wagon wheelers.
The Tadpoles
I'm
were the
sorry,
little,
I've got it mixed
the
up.
Tadpoles were the little kids,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right.
grade school or middle
The
school.
wagon wheelers wanted to be us.
Oh, I forgot.
Was there some bad blood,
Well,
professional competitiveness?
Gary.
Well, really, there wasn't while I was involved, because at that time, was it during that time?
Gary would sit up in the balcony while we were rehearsing for the Jubilee
Yeah.
and just watch every step we took.
Take notes.
I don't know.
He wanted to be a promenader, but don't say that.
Oh, all
I didn't
What
know.
about, did you ever see the Tadpoles perform?
Yes.
The tadpoles were very much appreciated by Springfieldians.
Mm-hmm.
They were good. They were good.
Did you ever
They
meet
were
Buford
fun to watch.
Foster?
What?
Buford Foster, did you ever meet him?
Mhm.
They were cute.
What'd you make of
Out
Buford?
of Camdenton.
Yeah, what'd you make of him?
What did we think of him?
Yeah.
I didn't think of him at all.
Oh,
I mean,
He's just their
he was,
caller.
he was just there. Yeah.
that's all we.
I just minded my own business.
Yeah.
I didn't have any jealous
Yeah. They were little
feelings or
kids.
anything.
Would you do it again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Knowing what you know, would you do it
Yeah.
again?
I would.
You're thinking about it, Jerry.
Without any question.
It was a great experience overall.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, how many people get paid for having a good time?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know
and
anybody.
it allowed us to see things that we'd never
Mhm,
seen.
Yeah.
We wouldn't see.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's not very much fun at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning on the bus,
Right.
going from one city to get to the next one.
Right.
And so at least I learned real fast that
This
that
was-
sure wasn't something I wanted to do for a
This was
living.
pre-portable devices and laptops and,
There was none of that.
there was nothing to,
No, there was none
I
of
suppose
that.
you could read a book maybe, but that'd be about it.
It taught me that I certainly would not want to be a star.
Yeah.
I
Kind of a
wouldn't-
grind.
I wouldn't want to be in showbiz.
Ultimately, it's kind of a grind. Long hours.
Well, it's long hours.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about that. It was long hours.
And traveling on a bus and
Yeah.
But by the same token, we were young,
mhm.
and I couldn't do that today if I had to. But
But it was fun.
sure it was. You met a lot of nice people.
So we've been speaking with Jerry Redfern and Gene Lichlyter, both of them former Promenaders, who, among other things, performed live on the nationally broadcast television program called the Ozark Jubilee. It went through several name changes, but
That's true.
thanks very much.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.